When the average fan listens to drill rappers talking about spinning his ops, you never really sit back and think about the collateral damage caused from activities like this. We see and hear stories of dudes straight walking people down and just assume that nobody else got caught in the crossfire. In reality though, bullets just don't stop at their intended target. They keep going, and many times your favorite rapper could end up hitting the wrong person completely.
It's 3 men. Chicago police just released new surveillance video hoping to find the gunman who shot and killed a 12-year-old girl.
I mean, look at 4PF rapper Dirty Tay. Bro got 17 years for completely missing his target, hitting an innocent toddler, and somehow, some way, people are still saying free this man. And if you think that scenario is bad, just know that Dirty Tay walked so Bando KD could run when it comes to this hitting innocent bystanders shit. We gotta get into Bando KD's situation today because bro took it a step further. In the midst of a crazy beef going on in the South Side, this up and coming rapper got arrested for accidentally shooting a 12-year-old kid, killing her during her birthday celebration, and literally got caught in 4K on CCTV doing it. It's honestly a sickening situation, and it's even crazier to know that bro was out and about free for over 2 years before getting arrested and charged for her murder today. Really take a second to process how crazy that is. I got a lot of questions. First off, how is KD in your name but you can't shoot for shit? Bro should have just named himself Bando Julius Randle, because when you look at the CCTV footage, it looked like bro was just shooting his gun in any random direction like it was a COD lobby. But this was very much real life. The part that gets me is the timing of all this is insane, because he was just getting a nationwide buzz around his name with a pretty big press run and pretty big numbers to back up for it. He even apparently inked a deal with legendary Chicago music executive Bibby, and all around looked like he was taking his career to the next level. However, one Friday night in the trenches would change the trajectory of his life and everyone involved forever. And now he's gonna face the rest of his life behind bars if he loses this case. Man, today we gotta get into the whole situation right now, the beef that made Bando KD slide just to crash out on camera, and everything in between. But before we do, gang, I'm gonna need you to do something for me, man. Like, comment, subscribe. We finna run at this video. Make sure y'all check out the merch, link in the description at staysafeworld.com. Man, hit that notification bell so whenever I post, y'all tune in right away. So let's get into this, man. Chapter 1, Gang Capital USA. Chicago is the most gang-occupied city in the United States, with over 150 different gangs and 150,000 members sharing beef and alliances. Chicago is a very real example of what you get when you mix a large urban sprawl with harsh redlining and segregation, with no economic opportunities and guns readily available from nearby states with very lax gun laws. Crazy thing is, this is not even a new problem. For over a century now, Chicago has been known as the gang capital of US, when Italian-American mob turned into black and Hispanic gangs, and now renegade cliques hell-bent on upping the score no matter who gets in the way. It was within this gang-ridden environment in the early 2010s when a new genre of rap music was called drill was created. It was a voice and opportunity for those street soldiers left behind in the trenches. Since the beginning of drill, fans were able to look at hood legends who would eventually make a name for themselves telling the stories of their come up. Lately though, the newest generation of drill artists is less concerned with the actual music and more concerned with upping the score on some serial killer shit one body at a time. In the past year, the drill genre has experienced actual serial killers going viral, taking the forefront of the genre, like YBC Duel, fellow Chicago rapper Bloodhound Lil Jeff, and one of the newest out of the rack, Bando KD. One doesn't just wake up one day and decide to shoot a little girl on an accident. The real reason behind this type of aggression is an ongoing gang war between two neighboring gangs that has residents afraid to go out at night and cops even afraid to patrol. In order to understand it though, we gotta get back all the way from the jump to explain how things even got this bad, and we're gonna do that right now in chapter 2, M Block vs 7200. While one family was left to pick up the pieces in an unexpected death, two gangs in the area were waging a war where there was no winner in sight. Like many things in Chicago, the beef between the gangs M Block and 7 Deuce DMG is something that's been going on for a minute now, but it's just getting everyone's eyes on it right now because of the big names associated with each group. M Block is a set of gangster disciples that's originally an offshoot of the hood 069 Face World. Face World basically being the OG set, named after a fallen member who lost their lives in the 2010s. Posted in the West Englewood area, Southwest Chicago, M Block got their name from the street South Maplewood Ave, which runs through their hood, with their set found near the intersection of Maplewood Ave and 69th Street. M Block is home to rapper Bando KD. M Block, just like Bando, has a pretty strong reputation for being straight crash dummies. I can't lie, we gotta keep it 100. Even before finding out about this incident, I feel like everything that I saw from Bando and other members members of that group is just straight fried activity. For being exposed for the shooting a while back on live with a random thotty, to going on live in a high-speed chase with Chicago PD on the regular.
So yeah, right here, I'm gonna pull up on the and I'm gonna right up on the tell me, y'all not on get y'all guys. He snitching. Hey, y'all not on shit, man. Get y'all cars, folks. Y'all know M Block out here fucking the streets up. Where that Draco at? Let's see Drake.
KD basically made a name for himself broadcasting his crash out activity on live, with his first big hit on YouTube being a music video, with the first 3 minutes being a whole police chase with mini Drakes in the car. Yes, bruh is the top floor boss of self-snitching. Every time this man commits a crime, a camera is in the vicinity. It was this type of activity though that helped him build a fan base for his music and eventually got him to get signed by Bibby's Grade A Records. On the other hand, we got the OPPS that they were attempting to slide on, a group of gangster disciples called 7200 or 7 Deuce. 7200 consists of 2 sets, DMG standing for Detro Money Glizzy Gang and FBC, Fly Boys Crazy, with 7200 standing for the 72nd Street being their main block throughout their neighborhood. Coincidentally, this area of 72nd Street is also where Bando KD was caught firing his weapon on CCTV footage, which we'll get into later. The biggest member of 7 Deuce probably being Lil Scoom, who unfortunately was gunned down in an alleged setup just 2 months ago. While not much is known about the direct origins of this beef, one thing is for certain in this gang war: the animosity pretty much dates back decades, long before either of these recognizable rappers were even known. Pretty much since the early 2010s, 7200 and M Block have had a constant back and forth, with both sides losing members all throughout the decade, even until now. Originally, 7200 was a part of a major alliance of gangs called Rock to the Bot, with 9 other sets in the area for the sole purpose of being against the sets Face World, 1140, and Red Tape. Eventually, that alliance went to shit, and ever since then, 7 Deuce has had smoke with 069 Face World for pretty much the whole time. Both sides often trolling each other on live, pretty much claiming to be upping the score on each other and having discussions about it kind of civilly on live, which is crazy.
Alright, look, Deuce, answer this for me. Who up? Y'all don't say it. Y'all up. Don't say it.
Imagine having a discussion with someone that murked your family member or friend on IG Live while the police are watching all of this. It was all just a super crash out incident waiting to happen. Unfortunately, one night 2 years ago, when members of M Block were lurking over in 7200 looking for their ops, a random shooting would go down that would change the trajectory of everyone's lives involved, which we'll get into in chapter 3. On March 1st, 2022, 12-year-old Nigeria Moore had just celebrated her 12th birthday with her close friends and family at a home of 2300 block of West 72nd Street, shortly before 8 p.m. As her and her family's car was pulling off the street to leave the house, a group of 3 hooded men would get into an altercation with another car a few feet away, and bullets would soon spray. Everyone in their car would duck to avoid getting shot by what sounded like automatic gunfire. When the dust settled, they noticed the shooters were all gone, but unfortunately, Nigeria Moore had been hit in the head. Despite their best efforts in rushing her to the hospital, she was later pronounced dead that night. At the time this happened, police had pretty much no leads on who did this terrible act. However, in the days that followed, the police superintendent stated that whoever was responsible for this shooting was gonna pay dearly. During the police investigation, officers recovered CCTV footage that pretty much showed every single thing that led to the shooting. 3 men in hoodies were seen walking, prowling, lurking on the 72nd Street block when a car pulls past them. I guess one of them recognizes the car, and either the car starts shooting at them, or they return fire, or they just uphold and start spraying the car as it drives by. It was in this instance that I saw some of the most absolute worst instances of firearm safety that you can even imagine. One dude on video had a whole 50-round drum with the switch, shooting in just any direction, barely holding on to the gun, hand basically limp, kind of like afraid of the gun going off, while 2 others looked on and began spraying indiscriminately. It was honestly terrible, just all out spraying in random directions in a crowded city block in the evening. It's some of the dumbest shit you can even imagine. Real crash dummy activity activity. It was a major tragedy that this went down. But even with this footage, police were unable to locate the suspects and the trail eventually went cold. Until about a year ago, Bando KD would go on live with a group of women who were coming at him crazy. He would diss one of them about their hair, and in return, this girl would go on a crazy all-out tirade dissing Bando KD and saying that it's his fault that he shot that little girl. Pretty much right after she says this, Bando KD would turn off the live expeditiously.
All these hoes getting boned. You
Right, and you fucking all of them niggas.
Hey,
Just don't be trying to be funny in these comments. I get this ain't
Take
that.
that bonnet off. Them stale ass tracks.
This shit, take my bonnet off and I give you better shut up. I say what you did, bitch, when you killed that little girl, you better. Don't nobody.
Obviously, it was too late because everyone has a recording of it now. I have no doubt in my mind that the police were probably watching this Instagram live and Instagram for the longest, waiting for him to slip up. Although he never stated anything about it in itself or his ongoing situation with 7 Deuce, it definitely did not help his public image in the eyes of police to be seen around those type of statements. Fast forward several years later, and Bando KD was finally getting nationwide recognition, getting interviews with podcasts like No Jumper and label meetings in LA, and it seemed like things were finally moving into the right direction. But this all came crashing down when Bando KD was arrested just yesterday and charged with the death of the 12-year-old. I know if bro loses his case, he's gonna be replaying that fried ass footage over and over again in his head of him barely holding the switch, shooting off into the distance. It's crazy how the tables can really turn, and getting a career off IG Live illegal antics and then getting your career taken by IG Live illegal antics all within a short period of time. It's honestly crazy, and people even went as far as taking pictures of his shoes and matching it with pictures of him shooting in that situation. So it's pretty much a done deal. People believe that it was definitely him that took out that 12-year-old. When you look at that footage, it's like, I don't even know what they were trying to hit. I feel like you really had to be fried to think that you were actually doing something, because those bullets have to go somewhere. You know, they were just spraying like 50 rounds at a time, just hoping to hit someone. And then they just didn't care about life that much, that they really were just going on the enemy block, just pretty much spraying at whoever, bro. And it's a never-ending cycle. What do you expect to happen when they do this? Someone else's life is lost and it caused them to spin on them, and then it's an ongoing situation that lasts forever. And that's not even the whole of everyone that they're beefing with, like 800, who there's another beef that could be a whole nother video and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's definitely not looking good. And judging by what happened to Dirty Tay and him facing 17 years and his legal counsel just quit on him, it's definitely not going to be looking good for bro. He should have just taken the rap seriously, went to No Jumper, went to these interviews, and just kept it 100 and kept it out of the streets. But a lot of these Chicago drill artists, you see them, man. You see Bloodhound Lil Jeff, you see Bando KD, you see PGF Nuke, man, you see Cairo. All these niggas just be crashing out. It's something in the water that making them do it, man. But hey, let me know in the comments what y'all think about this situation, man. Real safe, say shit. You already know what's going on. Like, comment, subscribe.